Hey guys, this is the day one dark vision stuff. In this video, I'm just going to briefly show an updated turn 1 OTK mage party that I'm using. So this is the mage fight. The mage fight, you can't use physical units. It usually gives people a little bit of a headache. But this is my attempt at making a universal use on any day one mage stuff mage party that goes in and perfect scores no matter what the boss's race or element is. And we're going to go ahead and try this, and then I will show you the gear and all and talk about some potential unit swaps. Although pretty much mostly it relies on Ayaka to be like the big carry, although Tsukiko is a big deal too. Anyway, so for turn 1, we're going to use Louise. Once the boss finishes all his stuff, we're going to use Louise to do a 90 break, a fire amplify, an AoE Omni Killer buff, and then just a stat buff. We're going to use Frievia to just imperil ice and put up the field. We're going to use Ayaka to do her Magnus, which is a quad bolting strike. Then Dark Fina. Warrior's Prayer Dark Fina automatically preemptively buffs the party's stats, so that gives us a stat buff. And we're going to use her to, she has quad black naturally, from an Esper, just quad Blizzara from an Esper. And then Tsukiko in the shift form will triple Firestorm. And then we're going to use Aerith in red in the shift form to quad. We're going to Rod in Peril first, and then triple Tag Chain. So we're going to click Aerith in red first to put up the Rod in Peril, let her tag chain a little bit to build the chain modifier. Then we're going to send the rest of the chainers all at the same time, and that'll give us the 100 count chain score. So here we go. Then we're going to send the rest. And that should hopefully deal more than 1 billion damage. Yeah, it did. I can see from that final hit. So there we go. We'll see the damage breakdown in a second. 3.9. We only needed 1. So yeah. So the boss is not even weak to ice, and we did primarily ice damage. It is weak to fire, and we did Tsukiko with fire element. So that is something to keep in mind. And then the damage breakdown is, there we go. So even though completely wrong element, Ayaka still more than double overcapped all by herself. So if you have Ayaka, the day one mage fights, no matter what the element, no matter what the race, it should always be totally fine to use this same universal party for the day one stuff. You can build it, then save it. So here we go. So I'll show you the team's gear real quick. So Naked Louise, she's the 90 break and AoE Omni Killer. That way it always works no matter what the boss is. And she also does a small fire amp for Tsukiko, so she gets a little bit of bonus damage on Tsukiko. Frievia is just a field for ice, as well as an ice in peril, and ice. Well, the amplify doesn't matter, because the only one using ice is Ayaka, and she brings her own 150 amp. But yeah, the field and the imperil is pretty nice. Aerith and red are for Rod in Peril, as well as building the chain modifier. Dark Fina, just a support chainer, and she auto buffs stats. If you don't have Dark Fina, you can replace her with literally anyone to quad Blizzara, give them the Irine's ring, put them on Shiva, learn Blizzara, you're good to go. Because Louise also buffs stats. Not quite as high, but she buffs stats as well. And then we'll show you the gear. So Ayaka is just built for, high magic, kind of it. I have 2 slots empty, so you can fill those in with killers, and you're good to go. So any killers you want. We didn't need it, but if you're a little bit low on damage, add some killers for the boss's race in those 2 empty slots, and then just a whatever card. And then Tsukiko, same thing. We're using rods. So, I gave her the wrong. Whoops. I gave her the old Tsukiko rod. My bad. Anyway, there it is. Just, evocation. She has natural killers to literally everything because she's an evoker. And there we go. And let me go ahead and update my team because I didn't realize that I had the wrong rod equipped on Tsukiko. Big whoops. Anyway, there was the turn 1 OTK. I know it's a little bit high end using, Ayaka, but you get the idea. If you don't have Ayaka, what is this boss weak to? Fire and Dark? Actually, Tsukiko capped by herself, even with the wrong rod. So Tsukiko did more than 1 billion as well. You only need 1 billion. So if you don't have Tsukiko or Ayaka, you could use Vivi is a good option. Olivera should probably work. Fire and dark mages. Who else do we have? And you can always use the re-raise trick if you need. Anyway, see you again for the final bosses on Saturday. See you then.